Hey everybody, welcome to Love and Reload, the voice of the relocation industry. I am your host, Ben Cross. I'm so blessed and honored to be here today live from the Gaylord National Harbor here in Maryland at the WERC. This is incredible. It's kind of the first full official day. The energy is electric. People are all over. You're going to see a ton of people start to go in the expo hall in a minute. We're learning stuff, we're networking, we're having a great time with old friends, and it's just great to be here again. And thanks so much to WERC for letting us do this Love and Reload live right outside the expo hall. I've got a lot of great guests lined up today and tomorrow, same time, same bat channel. But first, we're kicking off with Matt Tebbe, the CEO of Cardis. How are you doing, Matt? Such an honor to have you on the program.
Doing very well. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's really great. And you had a phenomenal session to kind of kick this whole thing off, on the main stage, whereas like an RMC leaders panel talking about all the kind of issues that are going on today. What are some of the things, you have such a unique seat sitting at the top of one of the largest RMCs in our industry. What are some of the things that you're kind of thinking about?
It's fascinating. It really is an industry that's in flux. There's a lot going on in mobility right now. Volumes are changing, pricing is changing, the needs of our clients and our transferees are changing. And so for me, it's really all about staying on top of what's going on, what the needs are, and how we at Cardis can best adapt and serve our clients and make sure, at the end of the day, it's about getting their transferees where they need to be as effectively as possible.
Yeah.
Having that business outcome and that business impact, and that's what we want to be doing.
Yeah. This has been one of the more challenging, say 18 months in our industry. You picked a heck of a time to get into the biz, man. I'll be honest with you, But how are you guys kind of adapting to some of the headwinds that we've had?
We're it's been interesting. So I didn't come from mobility. I've been at Cardis for about 1.25 years now, and so admittedly learning a lot over this past year. But ultimately coming in with fresh eyes also. And so we at Cardis, we've really embarked on a path of transformation. And that is a phrase that gets overused, that gets thrown around a lot. But we've invested significantly in new hires focused on what changes we need to make, changing our processes, changing our technology, but all with that view for how can we serve our clients better? How can we make that transferee experience better? How can we engage with our suppliers better? Yeah. And equally important, how can we make a better experience for our own employees? Cardis is this fantastic place to work. I've met somebody who's been at Cardis 52 years.
Wow.
52
That's incredible.
Years at one company. That doesn't happen anymore.
No, that's unheard of.
And so to have a culture that endears itself and makes people want to stay there, that's what's so important too. So I want Cardis to continue to be a great place to work, even while we are serving our clients and customers.
Oh, that's a really cool story. We're all about the human side of this business, and here at 52 years, I've had the pleasure of going to Cardis headquarters and making the pilgrimage to Danbury on multiple occasions, and what Cardis means to the city of Danbury. I think it was the second largest employer next to the hospital or something like that. And incredible what you mean to that area.
And for me personally, there's a personal connection. I grew up in Reading, 2 towns over from Danbury.
Okay, there you go.
This literally, I came into Cardis, and it wasn't the reason that I got the job or accepted it, but literally back in my own backyard. I met somebody who actually knew my parents. He used to ride bike with my parents, who works at Cardis.
That's incredible.
Friends who, mutual acquaintances. So it's fantastic.
So this has kind of a personal kind of purpose for you.
Absolutely, very much so.
Yeah, very cool. Get in the comments, hit that like button. I want to hear from you. Let me know who you are, where you are. We'll have some questions if you want to throw something out there. Rob Zeitz checking in here. Hello from Air Inc. in Cambridge, Mass. Wicked smart, Rob Zeitz over here. Having serious GLOMO FOMO not being in DC this week. You know what, Rob, listen, we're going to bring it to you live. Follow GLOMO_consulting on Instagram, GLOMO_consulting. We got clips actually live from the session this morning that Matt was in. We're going to be doing live videos throughout, so it'll be a good way to kind of track along with what's going on here. We miss you, Rob, but I did see Morgan, so you are well represented out here with the Air Anchors. And we got Olivia Barami here. Hello, folks, checking in from Toronto, Canada. Major FOMO watching y'all. Thank you so much, Olivia. Get in the comments, hit that like button. Feel free to ask questions. Farrell Elliott.
Olivia, I was born in Toronto. Mad props to Canada.
Okay. And, we got Canada representing over here.
Absolutely.
Hello, neighbors to the north. Love Olivia on the show. Farrell Elliott checking in from the West Coast, GLOMO FOMO in California too. Awesome. We got some really cool people lined up here. Matt, I got to ask you though, this industry, I feel like it's kind of unique because of how much like we all like love each other and hug on each other and everything. You've been doing this for a little over a year now in this business. As a person from an outside kind of perspective, what are your thoughts on our industry? What are your takes a year in now?
You are spot on. Everybody knows everybody. It's incredible how many people I've met. Oh yeah, I started my career at Cardis. Oh yeah, I used to work at Cardis. It's a very insular culture.
Yeah.
Pros and cons to that. I mean, the pro being that you get to know your clients extremely well, you get to know their programs, you get to know their policies. The con though is the risk of becoming stale, of just inertia. And you have to strike that right balance of bringing fresh ideas in, bringing in new perspectives, and that's really what we're trying to do at Cardis as well.
Well, it seems like a time for new ideas. I mean, let's be honest, right? We've been challenged in ways we've never been challenged before. So what are some of these maybe kind of these ideas or these thoughts maybe that you're looking at and saying, hey, can we do this a little differently, or maybe we should be focused on this instead of that, maybe historically? What are some ideas maybe?
Sure, so one good example, what I came into at Cardis was, if we didn't build it ourselves, we weren't going to do it. Everything was homegrown, fit for purpose for the mobility industry. And the reality is, what I've learned is, our clients generally don't care how something is built. They care about what are the features, what are the functionality, what is the benefit that it's going to provide to me.
Sure.
And so we've really made a big pivot towards partnerships and recognizing that there's a lot of great things that have happened in technology that have happened where people are doing it better than us. And so I don't need to recreate the wheel versus who's that right partner for us. And so just 2 days ago now, introduced a new partnership with Certino around
cool.
international gross ups. So really helping companies look at what their tax impacts are going to be, what their costs are going to be, and helping them better estimate that at a lower price. So to me, that's a great example where eventually we could have built it ourselves.
Yeah.
Why should I? Somebody's already doing it.
But it's hard to be better than the best leader out there in the market that's doing that one thing. I mean, I think about all the time how we've been losing the lump sum war to Google, right? People are just getting 10 grand and Googling it, right? And we're trying to build our own lump sum platforms out here. Everybody's doing it, right? And we're competing with Google and the Amazonification of everything out there. And you're right. So when you look at the off-the-shelf tools, whether it be ChatGPT and Copilot or whatever, right? I mean, there's so much out there that's so robust, I feel like.
It is, but and this came out in the panel this morning, it's finding that right balance too, because yes, I can Google my own move and figure it out, and I mean, I'll get there, but the experience matters also in that ultimately, whether it's an intern to all the way up to a CEO, you're moving for a purpose. And so do you want that person focused on trying to figure out how to set up their utilities, what school should I send my kids to, or do you want to provide that as a service such that all I'm focused on is doing my job, getting to that new location and kicking ass in whatever it is the company wants me to do?
Yeah.
That's the trade-off. So
Love
it's finding that right balance.
Yeah, totally. How do we combat this whole I don't know where you're at on lump sums and everything, but I mean, since the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017 and taking away kind of the moving deduction, right?
Yep.
And it's supposed to sunset at the end of next year and everything, but it seemed like when that went away, it really removed the incentive for corporations to have managed relocation, and this kind of tsunami of lump sum kind of activity, where I hear some people talk about half their book is lump sum moves that now they have to deal with, right? And it's kind of this loss leader that we do in order to get to the other business. How do we deal with that?
So to me though, that's somewhat a reflection. Obviously, every program is going to run the way that it feels is most relevant for what its policy is, what its needs are as a company. But it comes back to that experience. And what I don't feel like companies do enough of is really quantifying the impact, having the metrics to show the fact that, we've gone lump sum, but if that caused somebody to take 2 extra weeks to get to the location, if it's a consulting company, that's 2 weeks that somebody's potentially not billable.
Yeah.
That has material impact on revenue, on bottom line. If they're not tracking that though, they're not going to have the visibility.
Yeah.
You think also just the repatriations and how often those go wrong. You may spend $2 million moving someone overseas. If they come back, leave the company, that's $2 million out the window.
Yeah.
That's not being tracked. That's what we need to do, is help better quantify the importance of mobility.
Oh, it's such an interesting point around quantifying the ROI of what we do, right? And it's been like kind of the the holy grail that we've all been in search
Yeah.
of. Hey, I'll get in the comments here. I want to know what you think. Hit that like button. Get in the conversation. We got people checking in here. Marcy House checking in. Hi, Ben. Thank you for doing the show. You're welcome. Checking in from Michigan. Wish I was there. Wish you were here too, Marcy. It's been a phenomenal conference so far. Christian Ternetten, seeing what kind of shenanigans you're up to. Christian from, I'm up to some shenanigans, Christian. That's why we do it at 4.
Tomfoolery.
That's why we do it at 4 o'clock. Christian from sunny Orange County. What's up, y'all? Get in the comments. I want to know what your thoughts are kind of on this stuff. Oh gosh, I lost my train of thought. I had a question for you, then I started answering questions over here. Where are we going with this here?
Well, we were talking about lump sums. We were
Yes.
talking about the balance. I mean,
Yes.
I will say, Ben, at some point, there's a trade-off between costs and
Oh yeah, and ROI and costs and stuff.
Because,
Yeah.
If I did a expat assignment in Sydney.
Okay.
Didn't take a lot to send me over to Sydney, but
Yeah,
for some of these other countries, you want me to go there and you're just offering a lump sum.
Yeah.
There's no incentive. I mean, at some point you have companies have to find what that line is between the balance between costs and making sure that it's appealing enough to cause somebody to go in the first place.
Yeah. This whole thought of ROI, and this is kind of where I wanted to go here. This whole thought of ROI, I mean, if we could prove ROI, our business case to the business, increases exponentially, right? And we're able to really kind of tell our story, and all of a sudden now it becomes an investment and not kind of a cost center or a benefit, right? And I think that's where we need to get to, but it's just so hard to quantify ROI of assignments. I mean, I love what kind of you're doing and telling the story of like, hey, you spend a whole bunch of money to get somebody over there, and if the assignment fails in 9 months, whatever, then obviously that's easy to quantify. But how do you make that case to corporations? How do we as an industry make the case to corporations to say, hey, invest in this because it's actually going to make you money in the long run?
Well, especially because, I mean, you have the other complication. Most companies, you're talking about, 10% of the workforce that is called impacted by mobility. Mm-hmm. So it's even harder to make a case given that, they want to put towards where they get 90% of the staff who are impacted. But that's where, there's 2 levels of metrics. You can start with called the HR level. Who are we moving? Is it high potentials? Is it, future potential? Or is it just well-placed? If you look and realize that you're spending most of your money on the well-placed, you're probably not going to have a big bang. You can definitely look at DEI metrics. Mm-hmm. If you're primarily moving white males in their 50s, mm-hmm. you're missing out on a tremendous opportunity to really enable your workforce. That's all data that is easily accessible now. And then the next level is that true ROI, where you're really looking at ultimately the business outcomes and looking, you have to take a temporal aspect, looking over time. So we did an assignment at this point in time. How has that person's career gone over the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? Yep. Now you can really show that, hey, that person with mobility advanced higher, took on more assignments.
Sure.
Pay is increased. You can quantify what the impact is. And the fact of the matter is a lot of companies do have that data. The challenge is they aren't always collecting it from a mobility perspective. So that's where we can help, and that's where they can start as far as really quantifying that and getting to that ROI.
I wonder, I read Harvard Business Review sometimes, right? And I wonder sometimes, if a study of companies with, robust mobility programs and these rotations, and they really use it as a talent tool, if you could study the performance over, say, 10 years of these types of companies versus companies that don't really do it, or maybe kind of do a more hands-off approach, or just kind of catch as catch can kind of approach. I wonder if you could study that and say, look at the performance,
I think that would be absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, because you can't dial down to the individual transfer or assignment, but you could maybe look macro and say this is the way they perform.
Well, but you hit on a key point in that not everywhere is mobility truly an element of an overall talent strategy, mm-hmm. where we're moving people, for instance, to get them rotations because we want to advance them in the company, and they need, say, an international assignment mm-hmm. to better understand the overall operations of the company. I mean, so often it seems like mobility is just this operational function.
Yeah.
Point A to point B.
Reactionary, tactical kind of thing.
And all that matters is the cost versus, mm-hmm. again, like we were talking about, the ROI and the impact that it can have. So that, to me, the most progressive companies are the ones where mobility is a key pillar of an overall talent strategy.
Yeah.
But I think if you could do that with HBR and whatever professor is out there listening and wants to take this
Call
on,
us. Get in the comments if you're a professor out there and you want to make a name for yourself. Let us know. You mentioned DE&I earlier, and I have to applaud Cardis because, y'all have really been a leader in this area, right? And we've had Lisa Johnson on the show. I've known her for years, and actually saying, okay, we want to lead here and have someone who's dedicated to DE&I and kind of helping our clients with that. Why was that so important strategically for Cardis? What's the opportunity there?
It's two sides. I mean, it's one, what we genuinely believe in as a company, and Cardis being owned by Anywhere Real Estate, who do you sell homes to? Everybody.
Yeah.
Again, you can't single out specific segments, specific demographics. We need to make sure that we're representative of everybody, that we reflect the population as a whole. So DE&I is very much in our nature internally, but then that extends to the service we provide, because it comes back to the companies that have the best results, and I can't quote the studies, but I've read and I know from
Don't worry, we don't
classes.
fact check on this show.
Excellent, thank you.
Don't worry.
But those are the ones that are successful because they're leveraging the diverse experiences, the diverse knowledge of their entire workforce. They're not just limiting it to one segment. So the more that we can enable that, Cardis supporting our clients, and obviously the more that the clients themselves can do that, the more successful they're going to be. So it's one of those where it's, almost seems like it's becoming politically incorrect to talk about DE&I, and yet it's so powerful as a lever for companies to be successful.
It really is. I mean, you look at our customer base, you look at the population base. I mean, it just feels like it's just irresponsible to neglect how to be inclusive these days. I mean, you're just leaving so much opportunity on the table.
Yep.
This is great. This is really cool. We got people checking in here talking about the duty of care concept. The Ben Bader's talking about, yes, exactly. Christian talking about longer term plans. Okay, very cool. Rob Zeitz checking in here. If I walk down to Harvard, right, he's in Cambridge, says if I walk down to Harvard right now and start asking professors about writing about mobility, he's going to be right back because he's on the case.
Fantastic.
This is what happens when we come together as a community and we crowdsource this stuff. We can be so dynamic.
We're mobilizing.
Yes, we're in the moment. We're people of action. That's why I love this community so much here. I know our time is running out a little bit, but I wanted to just ask you, before we bring on some of our next guests, we got people lining up over here. Do you want to leave us maybe just a final thought, maybe to consider?
Obviously, thank you for having me. Thank you for giving the platform to talk about what we're doing. I love what you're doing with the podcast. And
thank you.
Again, I've been here for a year, so I am still learning, but so enthusiastic about what the potential is, regardless of what's going on in the industry or the volumes are down. There's so much potential, and ultimately it's all about the impact that we're having, on the people, that we're having on businesses, and helping them be successful, helping them lead better lives. It's fantastic being part of this industry.
I love it. I love your energy. I love the ideas. Matt Tebbe, CEO, Cardis, thank you so much for your time being on.
Thank you.
Here, yes, great job, Matt. Let's give him a round of applause. I'm going to take your mic from you here, and I'm going to bestow it on the next victim. Thanks so much, Matt.
This
It's
was awesome.
real
Thank you for the
pleasure.
opportunity.
Yeah, we'll do it again, for sure. This is great. Thanks for everybody being out there. Hit that like button. We got a few more guests coming in here. We got Brian here. Here we go. I'm gonna mic you up here. I don't know where we're sticking it, Brian. Here. This is how we get to know one another. Team building. Brian Potts, Altair Global. Wow. I smell. Okay, yeah, very nice. Not like is it a vanilla latte or perhaps polo? I don't know.
I smell a little Ralph Lauren.
Ralph Lauren, perhaps. Oh gosh, making me blush. Brian Potts, Altair Global, here with us. Get in the comments. Hit that like button. How are you doing today?
Doing good.
How you feeling right now?
Feeling strong.
We're on the home stretch right now today.
I feel like I'm on the halfway stretch.
Halfway?
I got a Friday morning presentation.
Yeah,
so
okay.
Friday
morning.
Friday morning.
Oh man, somebody doesn't
do the good
like
slot.
you.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
Jillian
Guzdo on our team also has a Friday morning as well, so we'll have to rally for her and you.
Let's not compete
as
for
well. So what are you talking about Friday?
Sustainability.
Nice.
Now, the future, the new normal. Where are we as an industry?
Are we as an industry that moves people around the globe? I mean, is it possible to be sustainable?
Yes. You just have to make iterations on that journey. You can't just go from A to Z. There's just things that you can do. And I met with Neve, my colleague. That's
Neve,
in the
we
audience.
love Neve.
She's
Friend of the show.
She's helping. Magali from Feedy is going to be on our panel. We're going to talk about how can you move the needle. Green sponsored moves, getting carbon offsets, getting credits. Those can all go into even mobility policies of our clients and just make small steps and small strides into just picking away at this journey.
I think having it in the client policy is a real big deal, right? Because the market demand is going to drive a lot of this, right? If there's unfortunately, I hate to say it, I mean, if there's a financial incentive towards, right, greening everything.
Versus an additional cost.
Versus an additional cost, exactly,
Yeah.
And I got to ask you, and by the way, I'd like to just point out the fact that I'm doing my part. My water is contained in a reusable cup right now that just so happens to be Love and Relo and Move for Hunger branded. So we're hitting all the ESG, checking all the
behind
boxes.
us.
Yes. But when we talk about, you know, sustainability and the cost of going green and greening the supply chain, is there an additional cost, and are corporations willing to pay for it? We know they want it. Are they willing to pay for it?
Not all of them.
Yeah,
And
shame on you.
You're going to need legislation that's going to have to force the issue, but there'll be progressive companies that will start sooner, and they'll see it as a talent mobility strategy.
Yeah.
You know, there's millennials, Gen Zs, they care more about the environment than I ever did at this age,
Yeah.
or maybe our prior generation
They're very
did.
aware.
So they're going to want to be with organizations that are thinking along that line.
Yeah, totally.
I'm thinking, so
Yeah.
is the cost going to be more expensive? The more options in corporate housing and household goods of green moves, it's going to bring that cost down. So initially, it could be, but if you can get carbon offset credits by legislation, that could come out in the wash.
I love it. Get in the comments. I want to know what you think. Get in there. Let's see here. We got Christian Ternen. There you go. Yep. There you go. Oh, we got some professors. Yeah, some good recommendations there. Hit that like button. Get in the comments here. Jillian Guzda checking in. Thank you, Jillian, for checking in the comments. Doing the most out here. Appreciate you having a great WERC. You know, since you've been studying this, and you know, Altair Global is such a leader, you know, in this area and in this industry, is there anything that you've seen maybe that's wow, that was interesting or innovative in the area of sustainability?
Interesting in
like something maybe a supplier's done, or maybe something that you've done that you think is kind of particularly you know, interesting. You know?
I think that what Worldwide ERC has done to be kind of a founding member of this coalition for greener mobility, I want to say those actions that CERC is involved, and FEDE and CHPA, those leaders of those spaces, and Magali is one of them, they have been working 2 years nonstop at trying to educate, share, create specific questions for corporate clients to ask in RFPs that can standardize that piece so that it isn't a minefield of options for either RMCs and the sub-supply chain to provide information that seems disparate and sporadic. So
tell me about
this.
Tell me about this coalition a little bit, because I've heard this a little bit. You know, who all's kind of involved in this?
So really it is CERC, it is FEDE, it is
CERC is Canadian
ERC,
Employee Relocation Council.
Yep,
Got
CHPA, CHIPA, I won't say it because they hate it.
They hate it. I love it. Everybody loves it. You should just love it. Lean in.
Worldwide ERC is a component piece of this.
I think IAM and FEDE,
and
both the moving associations.
Both moving, and that kind of rounds out.
We got to get the movers on board, because if y'all ain't doing it, you know, this whole thing goes to hell, I feel like. But so Brian, I got to ask you, when you're not saving the world at Altair Global, what else are you doing?
Working with you, saying hi to people, getting out, kissing babies. No, just trying to make Altair a better place, trying to make this mobility industry a better place, and trying to make a difference in people's lives and every interaction. That's really a small goal. I do not succeed every day. Neve works with me. She knows that's not happening all the time.
Neve, is he succeeding every day or no? He's about half, 50-50? 50-50? Nice. I love it. You guys always seem like you're having a good time, the Altair crew.
We're trying, man. We're trying. And what do you think about this conference so far? What do you think of the opening session?
You know, I thought the opening was good. Really enjoyed the RMC leaders panel. Always love to kind of see what the folks at the top of these large companies think.
Today,
a lot of different styles, yeah. Chad Sterling was up there from Altair. There's a few folks up there.
Certainly proud to see Chad, of course, from that perspective. But I thought it was some heavy hitters today.
Yeah, it really was. And Anupam did a nice job moderating it, I think. You know, listen, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered right now in our industry about where we're headed and how we get there, because you know, I think clients are asking for a lot of things. The expectations in the world is changing rapidly, you know, and
more than fair.
You know, and the remote work thing, I think, and it's interesting where we're at with it.
It's causing some downward pressure, I would say. Certainly on all the RMCs. Altair's no stranger to that. Less volume, different type of volume.
Well, and these tech companies that were phenomenal for our business for so long, and then they just decide to go all remote, and then they decide to do massive layoffs, and we're like, crap, you know, those are our folks that we were moving, right? I mean, those are the ones that the foreign nationals and the high potentials and all that stuff, right?
Constant, right? And it was hurry up and take the wave,
Yeah.
and then whoosh.
And then whoosh. And then we found ourselves to be, a bit kind of probably a bit bloated. We had to get lean and mean again.
We did.
But now here we're sitting in Q4, I think, math, Q4
got it.
of 2024. And I feel like next year is going to be kind of a pop, kind of a little, because I feel like there's been some pent-up demand. We've got an election coming up. We've got lower interest rates. We've got a lot of things that I would say for the first time might be tailwinds right now.
I absolutely agree. The election is going to be a huge thing in the U.S. You certainly see interest rates. The next Fed meeting is November 6th, 7th. We're all expecting at least a quarter base drop there.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll see another half point. Should spur interest rates. They're a little bit, they've been on the rise randomly for the last couple of weeks, but we're thinking that's going to go down. Money's going to cost less. That should grease some wheels. And you're right, this pent-up demand. 2025 has got an arrow up.
I think so.
I do too.
No, it's not going to be like, what 22 was a killer, right? It's not going to be like that, but it's going to be like, maybe it's like 19, I don't know.
I'll take pre-pandemic.
We'll take pre-pandemic. Bring it back, run it back here. We got Neve checking in the comments. Thrilled to see Brian Potts on Love and Relo. What's up, Neve? This is great. People are loving the background. We got the exhibit hall is popping right now.
That is.
People are coming in, getting those cocktails, seeing their suppliers and everything. Olivia says Dave Carlos from the Just One Sustainability Consultancy is also involved in the coalition for greener mobility. That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool. Great comment there, Olivia. Get in the comments here. Let us know what you're thinking about and what you're doing here.
What did you think of Anupam this morning going Work Nation? Trying to establish a little bit of a name catch. I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but the talent everywhere thing I kind of like. That slogan I've been digging a lot.
Look, I'm excited. I think if Work Nation and this new logo and this brand, I'd like to see some clothing. I'd like to see
some merch.
Some merch that we walk
merch,
around
like
with on weekends.
T-shirts.
And like, you know what?
Yeah.
I was part of Worldwide ERC or Work Nation.
Yeah.
I think there's a piece of that. I was chatting with somebody, Ben. I've been to over 20 of these conferences. I don't know that I have anything from a bag or a shirt or something in the past that says
DC 2024 or something.
I think
I've thought about that too. I almost thought
right?
about making some Glomo t-shirts where it's like DC 2024 or whatever to just commemorate the experience,
Maybe even a headband. Rock a little workout Saturday
I
morning.
think that's extreme. But I mean, you can't get t-shirts every year. It's not sustainable.
No.
Brian needs a headband. He needs some high socks. He needs some variety here. Oh my gosh.
I was excited though. The energy Anupam brought, man, that was a hell of an intro.
Yeah.
Then the interview.
Tell me about the interview
RMC.
with Jose Andres, because
Wow.
I didn't see that piece. So tell us about that.
That was special. What a dynamic human being doing just great work in the world. And he was funny. He's engaging, but serious and sentimental. I thought he hit all the bases and what you would think would have very little correlation to mobility.
Yeah, we're like, we got a chef on here. What are we going to learn?
He tied it in perfectly and multiple ways, multiple times that I thought resonated as I looked around the room almost with everybody at every table. So 100% out of the park on a keynote speaker today. I couldn't have been more impressed.
Yeah, that's awesome. Brian, I know we're kind of running up against it a little bit here. You want to leave us maybe with just kind of a final thought,
Yeah, the industry's changing. There's no doubt about it. We heard it today, so I think I'll give you a final thought from Altair. So we got the pin rocking here, 35 years as an organization, 5 years of experience management. And Altair is a differentiator. We listen to what our customers and our clients are saying. There is an opportunity now for this new generation, lump sum, core flex, self-serve. Okay, we're listening. We can service that with our experience management program, but we can also juxtapose and handle a pharma client that wants VIP treatment for theirs. It hits both sides of the experience management equation. So I think that we as an organization are well positioned in a future state to handle what I consider is going to be a bit of a dichotomy of moves going forth.
Yeah, there's going to be kind of two real types. I can totally see that. We actually have a question. Do we have time for a question? Let's see here. Yeah, Farrell Elliott says, curious how much pressure your clients put on Altair to meet sustainability criteria.
Farrell, I'll say hello to you. Thanks for asking. It is on the light side right now from our client experience base. I certainly won't speak for other portfolios, but so far it's light. And
Is it differ by like region, like your European clients? Are they more, you know,
yes,
pushing for this stuff?
Yes, I think that's a good statement. Europeans are definitely pushing for it, but they've had the legislation much earlier and been more progressive in that front. But I think it's also by sector. We see more tech clients asking for sustainability reports. What is your scope 1? What are your net zero targets? Than we do see in maybe pharma or retail or automotive. So a little bit of sector based so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great question, Farrell. Stay tuned here. We got more folks coming up here. Hit that like button, get in the comments, and give it up for Brian Potts from Altair Global. Thanks so much, Brian. Look, you got an ovation, buddy.
Thank you, Ben.
That's amazing.
Appreciate
Let me
it,
get that
man.
mic off here real quick
Gotcha.
here. See you later. I'll see you at one of the parties this evening, possibly. Thanks so much here. Yeah, we're ready for our next guest. Anindita Chaudhary here, founder, and just scoot over a little bit here for me. There we go.
Thank you.
And I'm going to give you this microphone as well here. I don't know. Here, why don't you just kind of clip that to wherever you feel good. Yep, up top. Awesome. Very cool. Awesome. Anindita, how are you doing?
Great to be back at WERC.
Yeah.
This is our third presence here at
Yep.
this organization, so
Yep.
very excited. Yeah, thank you for this opportunity to actually talk with you.
Oh, of course.
But,
Love it.
excited.
I love what USI Law is doing. I was kind of over there by your booth earlier. There was a
Selling candy.
ton of buzz. You guys have great candy you're giving out here. What kind of candy you got over there?
Director insisted on candy, which I found was a little odd. He's like, it's Halloween. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, and I was wrong.
You guys like Halloween a lot.
Huge.
Yes.
It's huge in our house. But then I was wrong. And when I'm wrong, I can admit it.
Yeah.
But he was like, everybody loved the candy. So,
Yeah. What kind of, you got some Sour Patch Kids over there?
Yeah. we've got Sour
I
Patch
could go
Kids
for some of
some,
those.
And we've got M&Ms for others.
Oh my gosh, save me
So-
some Sour Patch Kids
Yeah,
here.
seriously.
We got people checking. It says, hi from London, is this live? Yes, Richard, this is live. You know the deal, Richard. We do this all the time, buddy. You're not new to this, buddy. You're an OG. Olivia Barami says, hi, Anindita.
Oh, hi, Olivia.
Yeah, we love Olivia
Yes,
on the show here.
absolutely,
This is
absolutely.
fantastic. And now I saw that USI Law sponsored the Advocacy Day.
Yes.
That was awesome. What was that like?
That was very important to us as our commitment to the trade, because the more lawmakers we get an opportunity to educate about the challenges that we are facing in immigration, in the real estate industry, in what we do as Global Mobility, and which brings us to WERC, it's important to get the message out. It's important to get the message out to the lawmakers in the hope that they understand our pain points and they understand how important it is to protect the talent and the immigrants that we all collectively work together to bring to this great country. So
Yeah, there's
was fun.
there's a lot from an advocacy side. I used to think, honestly, maybe if you had asked me 5 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I would have not thought that advocacy was one of our top 3 things we needed to be focused on.
Mm-hmm.
But now when we look at, immigration, when we look at the NAR settlement, when we look at the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, removing the moving expense deduction, forcing us to go with a lot of lump sums and such like that. There are so many things that we need to be advocates about.
Absolutely.
And what was the feedback that you got from that day, that advocacy day
very
on
pleasantly
Tuesday?
surprised that some of the young policy analysts that at least the senators that we met, were very well educated.
Oh, really? So
yes.
so it wasn't like coming in like cold. They actually had some awareness
yeah.
about some of these issues.
Some
That's
a little more,
interesting.
some than others. I mean,
Sure.
The young gentleman in Chris Van Hollen's office, Miguel, was very well aware because he obviously is in the DC area. He is a first-generation immigrant himself,
Oh, wow,
so
cool.
that he could relate. But yes, it was very interesting to see, especially with the taxation and the real estate issues. They were a little more familiar with that. Maybe immigration, they were a little less familiar. But then it emphasizes us the need to educate them even more.
Do they understand how important influx of talent? Do they understand how important being the #1 talent destination for the entire world, how important that pole position is?
Very well said. And if me, being myself, being honest, I'll tell you no.
Really?
Some of them. Because for the first one that we met with, which was Senator Tillis's office, the gentleman, Jack, there was fantastic. But he was like, hey, Senator Tillis is all about, finance and taxation. That's what I'm focusing on, blah, blah. And I waited for my two other colleagues who addressed the taxation issue, that addressed the real estate issue, and then I brought it to immigration. I said, look, immigrants contribute to this economy that you're taxing.
Yeah.
So where is taxation going to be bifurcated with immigration? Because even if you come on a non-immigrant visa and you work here, like at H&L, taxes are taken out of your paycheck. So taxation on an economy that is composed significantly with millions of immigrants are directly related. And he understood. He was a very respectful young man, and he understood at the end. It's like, look, it's equally important.
Yeah, I mean, or what'll happen is if we don't have the influx of talent here, we'll send the jobs there.
And that's exactly what I said.
And then you can't tax them. I mean, you already see corporations. I mean, even Apple. Look at Apple, right? I mean, they have a headquarters over in Ireland, and all these companies are doing this, right, in order to kind of get around some of the taxation, right? And they get favorable tax environments, right? And so there's a big push to repatriate some of this money
100%.
in order to tax it. Well, the same thing happens on a micro level with talent and jobs too.
I mean, when we had the previous situation with the 45th president, which, transparently speaking, had injunctions, had travel bans, had just disruption as far as we are concerned, as far as immigration goes, where did the talent go? Canada and Mexico.
Right.
Where did the talent go? Even now with the visa backlogs of processing anything, now these students who are being educated in our US universities are having no choice but to go back to their home countries, and these kids are bright. So they're opening their entrepreneurial spirits, into shops and businesses, but guess what, in their home country.
We need them to stay here. We need them to stay here. If we didn't have them stay here, we wouldn't have Google, we wouldn't have Tesla, we wouldn't have PayPal, Microsoft.
So
I mean,
Apple.
We need the talent to stay here. Yes, we want them to come and get educated here, but now that they're smart, now that they know how to deploy that talent, we need them to stay here.
Absolutely. And we are losing that game. We are bleeding the talent because we don't have creative immigration options for them to stay back. I mean, for the H-1B visa, you only have 65,000 visas and 20,000 on top of that for US educated students. How many kids? There are hundreds of thousands of kids that are coming out of the US universities, and we only have 20,000 as a pool to capture that. It's a lottery,
only
right?
20,000.
Yeah. So last year's immigration year, there was 65,000 and close to 900,000 applied in the registration system.
900,000 applied for how many spots?
65,000 spots.
65,000.
Or 85,000 spots, if you say.
80.
This year, it was close to 500,000.
Wow.
So where do the rest of them, the remaining, 400, if you take 500,000, 420 or 15,000 go? Back to their country? Or Canada and Mexico, or Europe, or anybody who will have them. But at the end of the day, there's nothing like the American dream. At the end of the day, they want to be here.
Yeah, let's see, we got questions here. Get in the comments here, hit that like button. I want to hear from you. What questions do you have? Richard Majewski says, did I see something earlier about proposed changes in tax for US citizens working abroad? Residency versus citizenship or something?
At this point, I will tell you the only focus that we have in the US is the next 12 days, who is going to be the next president. And then once we settle that, I don't know how long that'll take, whether it's going to be 1 day, 48 hours, or several weeks, then the new administration will dictate and start opening up about their policies. So, it's a holding pattern until then.
Yeah, Richard, I don't know about this exactly. I do think that there's double taxation, where you're taxed in your home country and taxed in the country you're working in. So we do have that to contend with. But to Anandita's point, I mean, we're not thinking about anything right now except who's going to be the next president and what we're going to do in either scenario, because right now it's extremely close right now. We don't know. We may not know for a couple days afterwards. I could tell you there's probably, if Trump doesn't win it, I'm sure he's going to challenge it in court and all sorts of stuff. Although I do think that the results of the election will stand either way, whatever happens. So it's going to be interesting. We're kind of coming down to the wire here. To be honest, we all have a little bit of this kind of election fatigue right now. I think the hay is in the barn on this thing. We all kind of know where we're going to vote here. Richard says, I think one of the parties was proposing something attractive to get proxy votes abroad from expats. Interesting, Richard. Yeah, throw a link in there if you see an article about that. But yeah, I mean, have you been hearing from clients that are trying to think about and plan for election results?
Petrified. I'm not being political here at
But
all.
let me ask you though, why are they petrified? It's going to be the same amount of visas, isn't it? No,
yes,
it won't be?
Yes, that will. But in
Really?
Project 2025, Trump has proposed that he will delete the the optional practical training program. So
What is that going to do?
So these will kick out the kids of STEM programs. These will kick out the kids of any
STEM,
graduate
the science and engineering and technology kids.
who normally
Those
have
are-
36 months to find a job. And the non-STEM, they have 12 months to find a job. He basically said he'll terminate the program. So you graduate May of any given year, you take the flight home.
Well, and then it's like, why even go to school here?
Yeah.
Why not go study in the UK,
Singapore,
or why not go
UK,
study
wherever,
in,
100%.
you know, because I know I'm not going to be able to
100%.
stick around and get a job.
100%.
So it'd really be cutting off the talent pipeline before it even starts.
I mean, besides the 12 million or 15 million he has threatened to deport, I'm not getting into that. That's, unskilled labor. That's a whole nother problem.
Yeah.
We at WERC, at least, and this hat that both of us are wearing is more the skilled labor. It's just finding ways to cut off the limbs of American companies to preserve the talent that they already have and to stall. So now another proposal is for those countries that are backlogs, which India is one, China is one, he said, let's stall immigration from those countries entirely till the backlog is caught up. So Indian's quota system is backlogged anywhere between 17 to 20 to 25 years. So there's no...
To get what? Backlog to get what?
To become current.
To become current.
So till that category becomes zero, that there's no backlog, there's nobody waiting in line, till then let's stop people coming in from those countries.
Okay, interesting.
How?
Yeah.
How?
I don't know how that would work. It seems like if you cut off the influx of talent to our economy, and you also levy taxes, tariffs of 10-25%, it seems like it would have a multiplier effect to cost and inflation.
And it will directly affect the economy, where people are sometimes under the impression that, nothing's going to affect the American economy. All of these factors are contributing factors to the American economy. Any disruption in these contributing factors will directly affect our economy.
Wow.
And anything in the US economy have a circular effect on the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Super, super interesting. A lot to think about here,
Scary.
Anadita. But we're staying positive.
Yeah, trying.
We're going to operate. No matter what happens, we're going to operate, okay?
We have to.
And we wouldn't have a job and we wouldn't have a business and an industry if all this stuff was simple, right?
Yeah.
They wouldn't need a
100%.
law
Well
firm
said.
to figure it out, right?
Very well said.
They just go online and do it themselves, right?
Yes.
So they're always going to need experts like yourself, like our industry, to figure this stuff out and navigate these waters. We will find a solution. It might suck and we might have to get creative and whatever, right? I mean, you talk about sending people to Canada versus the US or whatever, but we're going to figure it out. And that I do know, because we always have.
And we will survive. We'll come out of this craziness if it ever happens, but hopefully not.
I want to switch to something more positive.
Sure.
Let's talk about those Washington Commanders.
Ooh.
Okay?
Jaden
Your team,
Daniels.
everyone knows I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, but I had the honor of attending the Washington Commanders game this past Sunday with my dear friends at USI Law. Always top-notch hospitality, a suite full of amazing mobility professionals, and the Commanders got a decisive victory over the Carolina Panthers. How did that feel? 40 to 7. Now you guys aren't used to being on that side of those kind of victories.
100%.
That sounds like a Cowboys Commanders score from a couple years ago the other way.
In all honesty, after the third quarter, I'm like, okay, this is getting a little boring. Can we go home?
Yeah, we go home. We're gonna leave early because it's boring instead of.
I was like, just shut up and be happy.
I enjoy. When my team's winning, I enjoy a good blowout. I don't mind it at all personally. But so how are the Commanders going to do? Any predictions this year?
I hope the team has finally, under Jaden Daniels' leadership on the field, and
Yes.
definitely the new leaders, the new owners, I should say,
Yep.
are so much more invested into the players, into the fan experience, everything. That's something we can look forward to, and it's infectious.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we are seeing. It took them a little while last year to get out of the funk for decades of what we've had the previous leadership, and now I think it is kind of catching on as far as this new team, and I think they're doing a fantastic job, as you're saying.
Yeah, the optimism around the Commanders club right now is incredible. Unlike any, it's in fact it's infectious. I might have caught a little bit of it. I don't want to admit it. I won't admit it publicly, but I'll just do it because nobody's watching. I will admit the fact that I'm a closet Commanders fan. It's the last time I'm going to say it. Yes, I'm considering at least getting a second hat, maybe.
If we make it to the Super Bowl, then you'll vouch for us.
Then I'll probably be all in. Honestly,
If
I'd be
Cowboys
all in.
will make it and we make it, then I'm sure you'll support us.
Oh, then it might go back. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Anandita, this has been fantastic. Do you want to leave us maybe with a final thought? We have one more guest coming up.
Sure.
Surprise guest. You want to leave us with a final thought?
Yes, really excited to be at WRC. We see, so many common friends, and making new friends is another thing I look forward to. Really looking forward to continuing the good fight as far as the global mobility is concerned. And, thank you for every opportunity that you give us, Ben, at USI Law, to showcase our portfolio and our talent and our commitment to the global mobility
Well, your
space.
work product is exceptional, and
Thank you.
I love having you on the show here. So thank you so much. Anandita
you.
Chaudhary
Thank you.
here,
Thank you.
founder and managing attorney at USI Law. Can I have your microphone
Yes,
back,
of course.
please? Yeah, you don't want to walk around with a hot mic on. That could be bad news. All right, we got our last guest over here. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Thursday Morning Boot Camp himself, Rudy Lettuce in the house here. How you doing, sir?
Good, how are you?
Put that somewhere. Put it somewhere. Yeah, or maybe on the other side, towards me, maybe. Yeah. First time here. Yeah.
I swear,
Here we
I
go.
swear I've done this before.
Rudy Luchuga, Vice President of Client Services, Global LT. You got to push on the clip, buddy. Yeah. Here we go. Hey,
We in
everybody,
here.
we're here. Rudy, so good to see you, bud.
Good to see you too. man.
Always love the drip, man. Like the tie. Always got something fun going
I know
on.
you're gonna be showing up fresh, so I always had that in the back of my mind. Like,
Yeah.
what would Ben do?
What would Ben do? And
Yeah.
then kind of like tweak it, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
Yeah. Tell us what you're looking forward to this week.
I've seen everyone. It's been a while. I've been to one recent regionals, but other than that, I haven't traveled too much this year. So seeing everyone, making the connections where you kind of made those relationships early on in the year, but then definitely looking forward to boot camp tomorrow.
Boot camp.
Yeah, leading
What's the
that
deal with
session.
boot camp?
So boot camp it used to be Wednesday morning, but we got pushed over to Thursday morning. That's okay. So all you Rocket mortgagers tonight,
Yeah.
show up.
Oh my
7
gosh, we've been invaded.
Oh,
We've
gosh.
been invaded. Oh my gosh. Oh man, who is this here? What is this? We got the Weicker. Is this Gobi? I've heard of it. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you there. High five. Look at this. Yeah, the Weicker bot got us. Oh my gosh, an alien life form.
I thought they were coming for the
That's
spa
awesome.
day. I thought
You
they
never
were-
know what's going to happen at WERC. Okay, we've been invaded. We are safe. Everyone is safe. But this is fun.
Yeah.
Wow, I think you might want to get the Weicker Go robot at the boot camp.
Yo,
You ever do
idea.
planks with a robot?
I have not.
They're really
First
good
for
at them.
everything.
They're really good at them.
Yeah, they just don't move.
So what do you guys do? What do you guys do at boot camp? I have to admit, I've done everything at Worldwide ERC except go to the boot
All right,
camp.
here's the thing. Boot camp is going to be in the Potomac foyer, so
Okay.
it's in place. We're not running anywhere. The main idea is it's circuit training.
So far, so good.
40 seconds of
Oh my
work.
gosh. Oh, hey. Cool. We're going to do it right after. We're on the show real quick, but we'll do it right afterwards, Pamela's always trying to get on the show. She's getting on tomorrow. She couldn't wait. She's saying hello. Hey, what's up? Hey, Pamela. Anyway, I'm gonna see you on a second.
Yeah, the boot camp is 40 seconds of work, 20 seconds of rest. We're going to do like 12 movements, so you can go at your own pace.
Yeah.
Take it as slow as you want. go as fast as you want, make it as hard as you or easy as you want. So it's really is for all levels.
I can make it as easy as I want.
Yeah, because it's at your own pace. We're all working at the same time. We're all resting at the same time. So if it's 40 seconds of air squats, if it takes you 40 seconds to do one air squat, just at your own pace, hey, you're just going at your own pace.
Can you show me what an air squat is? I don't know
Yeah.
about an air squat.
I'm not wearing the most stretchiest pants
It's okay,
right now.
buddy. It's all right.
So I'll hike
Don't
these
worry
up
about
a
it.
little bit, but we're just coming down below.
Coming down
Back
low and
back
going up high.
Yeah, chest is up.
How
nice
many of
and
those
tall.
do you typically do in a 40-second period?
I could probably knock
What's
out.
a set?
I could probably knock out like 25 to 30.
25?
If I was really,
If you're really.
I'm not going to want to do that tomorrow because we're doing 3 laps of that.
Three.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, Jillian Guzda's got her air squats
Yeah.
going on.
Like at least 200.
It's nice.
200
Yeah,
squats.
Mike refused to believe I could do 100 once, so I sat there and I did like 150.
Did 150?
Do you want me to keep going? Because I was on.
Oh, wow.
He was like, no. He's like, this is not going to stop.
Wow. So what makes someone a good squatter?
I wouldn't say there's anything. Well, you mean like just the standard of it, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a question. I ask the questions, you answer them. That's how this works,
Oh,
all
that's
right?
how this works. I thought it was the other way
yeah,
around.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I'm not the squat expert.
Just feet shoulder width apart, coming down below parallel is the goal, but
Okay.
everyone's hip anatomy is different, so they can only come so far down to parallel.
My hip anatomy is different. That's what I'm gonna tell my wife. So
It's-
you
it's
should work
true.
out, but my hip anatomy is different.
You got it. Some
I'm
people need
built
a wider
different.
base
Yeah.
feet, some people a little more narrow. but
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And what does the squat do for you? Like, why am I doing this anyway? Why not just sit?
Well, sit. You're not burning any calories. You're not burning anything. So squatting, we're using our quads, we're using our hamstrings, we're using our glutes.
Oh, the glutes.
We're even using our core. You got to brace your core
Yeah.
coming down into the bottom of the squat. Helps your mobility with your ankles.
I like mobility.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I see what
You
you
can
did
do
there.
global hip squats.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this is fantastic. This is awesome. Tell me a little bit about Global LT, man.
So we do language and cultural training. Work with all the a lot of RMCs, corporates, but we do translation. Some of the things people don't think about in Relo is translation for documents or interpreting.
Interesting.
But,
Yeah,
we bridge the communication gap. We're bridging that communication. You're relocating people to and from other countries. You got a family of 4 that doesn't know how to communicate with their new colleagues or the school system.
Yep.
So yeah, we're setting them up with a language trainer in their new town.
Nice.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
You like selling language?
I do. It's interesting because you get to see the impact it makes on the students.
Give me like an example. Like, tell me a story. Like, give me an idea.
Man, one of the first, probably the very first one I sat in on was a student. She was the trailing spouse. She had her daughter with her. So I was just observing a class, face to face, and her husband was at work, and she was just trying to learn English to do normal everyday stuff that we do. She doesn't know where to go to do her laundry or to the marketplace. She needs to be able to communicate so she can talk to the teachers. And so things that we take for granted all the time, just you and I conversating, she couldn't do. And so just to see the intensity of her just really wanting to learn that language, just to be able to do normal stuff was.
I bet that's such a great gift to give someone.
It really is.
The power to communicate.
Yeah, we definitely take it for granted.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's you imagine maybe just the working spouse being at work learning the language and they're doing their thing, but then you got the family at home not really understanding how to do anything. So
yeah, and how do you build community, and how do you fit in, and how do you not just be overcome with loneliness, frankly,
Yeah. We actually did an experience recently. I led the experience, I taught it, and one of them was fitness trends in the U.S. And it was interesting because you would assume, coming to the U.S., yeah, you've probably heard of Planet Fitness, Orange Theory, F45, all these normal gyms, Lifetime, whatever. These people have never heard of those wherever they're coming from, so they don't know the cultural norms, the do's and don'ts. But the biggest thing I took away from that was that they just want a sense of belonging. They like fitness, they like their new employees. How do I meet people in this
What
new
are
town?
the cultural norms of fitness that you have to tell people from another country?
You wouldn't think about it, but think about someone saying, "Hey, can you spot me on this on a bench
Yeah.
press?" Spot you? What do you mean spot you? Like assist to them. They don't know that. Think about Planet
Do
Fitness.
they not assist over there? Or they just call it something
There's
different.
different terms, yeah. Think
Okay.
about you've heard of Planet Fitness, the lunk alarm, right? In Planet Fitness, if you go in there with cut off shirt and you're dropping weights and stuff, the lunk alarm goes off. too. Imagine being an expat coming to a Planet Fitness and you hear this alarm going off and you're like,
Right, and you're like, uh-oh,
yeah,
cops are coming.
Yeah, it's just someone being a little douchey, and that's why that
Yeah,
alarm's going
yeah,
off. So
yeah.
a lot of those things we don't really think about.
Let's see here. We got people checking in here. Hit that like button. Get in the comments. Richard says, "I wonder what percentage of reloads fail due to language issues. Would love to see stats on various issues like that. Anecdotal evidence. Of course, we won't fact check you. What do you think?"
I wouldn't say. I couldn't put a percentage on the amount because it's hard to say who's authorizing the only the working spouse versus the trailing spouse and the working spouse. But I would say there's been some dollar amounts put on how much a failed relocation costs when they're not happy and they got to go back home, and that can range anywhere from $25,000 just that single move to half a $1 million depending on how many moving parts there were in that.
Yeah, sure. And I mean, if 10 or 20% of those are due to them not being able to fit in or thrive because of the language, that could be a real issue. I remember I dated this girl in college, and she's Ukrainian, and she would tell me about when her parents, when they came over here for the first time, her parents went to the grocery store and bought bacon and then ate it like it was cold cuts.
Oh.
They ate raw bacon. And they didn't know. They assumed it was like some sort of a cold cut.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, kind of.
Yeah, if you just looked at it.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure on that package somewhere was like cooked thoroughly.
Yeah. But they couldn't, read the package.
Yeah, but they just said, "Hey, it looks like bacon. It looks like ham.
Yeah.
Let's go." So really interesting. Christian Ternedden says language skills are crucial for quote belonging. Yeah, totally agree.
Absolutely.
Let's speaking of belonging. Speaking of fitting in and feeling like you're thriving, going any cool events this evening?
I'm on the Rocket Mortgage wait list.
What's the deal with this wait list, by the way? Since when is there a wait? Yo, Rocket, y'all underwrote my mortgage. What's the deal with this wait list?
What I've heard, the word on the street is that it's a little bit not as large of a venue, so limited space. So it just kind of depends on who shows up.
You got to be careful with start waitlisting people, because this has been the undisputed Wednesday night everybody goes kind of thing. You start waitlisting people, you start making room for other people, start throwing other events on Wednesday night. All of a sudden, Glomo's going to be the thing to do on Wednesday night. So watch out, y'all. I'm just saying, okay?
So if you don't get in, you should be at the boot camp tomorrow.
Yeah, if you don't get in, go to the Glomo party tonight and hit the. Maybe I will. Maybe I'm just going to do a thing at the MGM tonight.
Heck it.
Should we do like a party at Felt at the club tonight?
Heck it, let's do it.
Heck yeah, that's a heck yeah.
I would do it.
We're just gonna do it. For everybody that's waitlisted out there, breaking news. For everybody that's waitlisted for the Rocket party tonight, come to MGM. We're gonna be at Felt. We got 100 people. There might be it's tonight Wednesday. It's gonna be a band tonight. We got a balcony situation out there. We got a little section, maybe have cigars if you want to have cigars. It's gonna be fantastic. Excellent craft cocktails, nice whiskey bar, and sponsored by Glomo and probably some other guys. We're all gonna chip in, run a tab. So that's what that is now.
It's a thing.
That's how that happens.
It's a date.
Just like that. What's up, Jake? How you doing, buddy?
Another great mustache.
Yeah, no, that's a stash. Come here, Jake, pop on real quick. Pop on.
This could be our plug.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Jake.
Yes.
You're a very well-respected member of the mobility community. I think people like and trust you and your opinion. I have one pressing question. Who's got the best mustache in global mobility?
I mean, Rudy. I got mistaken for Rudy, and I felt
You got
like
mistaken for Rudy?
which is really kind of crazy. Someone was like, I was walking.
Were you hitting squats or something?
I was seriously, yeah, right. I'm like, ooh, I feel more fit than I've ever felt in my life. They were like, is your name Rudy? And I'm like, no, but I take that as a great compliment. And the fact that I would be mistaken for such a handsome gentleman is was really flattering. But yes, I mean, how can I can't compete with that.
Six stash.
Yeah.
I don't know. You got a little twist going on.
I had to shave it down because military. I had some duty. I had to cut it off, but I'm trying to
You
get
had
it back.
duty in your mustache?
Yeah, duty.
I'd cut that off.
That's not hygiene.
That's not hygienic, is it? No, I learned that in language class. Jake, real quick here. What are your thoughts on the conference? Maybe one thing maybe you learned or were kind of, I don't want to say surprised, but maybe one thing you've learned so far or something.
Great conference, been amazing. First time in DC, so that's awesome too.
Oh, that's super cool. And you're in San Diego, right?
Correct, San Diego, yeah. Let's see, one thing, today was great listening to Jack and Vinny kind of like spit out some wisdom like on just like managing and managing programs. So that was pretty good, yeah.
Jack was spitting game out there on managing programs, huh? Oh man, the other side of the coin. Jack's got like a 4-sided coin. I got to see this coin. No, I love Jack, big friend of the show. What were they saying? Were they saying, hey, suppliers, there's too many of you guys, go consolidate, stop calling me?
Yeah, they were like, stop harassing.
I know Jack's line. I know Jack.
Stop harassing. Yeah, more transparency, I think was the theme.
Hey, everybody wants to go to the parties, but nobody wants to go to bid. What's up with that, Jack?
Yeah, exactly. No, it was good. Just like things to consider when like going like with RFPs, things like that. So it was just good. Some good reminders, some good insights. It's good, yeah.
Awesome, man. You looking forward to anything tonight?
Rocket Mortgage Party, always.
Are you on the list or are you on the wait list?
I like Wedding Crasher style. Yeah, I get in.
That's what I always say, but there's a wait list apparently. Hey, so if something happens, felt at the MGM, we're throwing a party tonight for all the people that aren't cool enough to get into the main party.
Well, maybe that might be where I'm at then. Yeah.
Holler, man. It's good to see you, Jake. Take care, buddy. Yeah, man, we're out here just making stuff happen out here, moving and shaking, whatever. Shaking and baking.
Shaking and bacon.
That's right, Ricky Bobby. Let's go. Hey, I know, speaking of shaking and baking, I think it's going down in there. Oh, look at Christian turned out and says, my mom bought dog biscuits in Spain as a treat for us 3 boys by accident. Oh, man. Language, dude.
Yeah.
Language. Imagine like you show up to a presentation and you hand them dog biscuits, like a bag of biscuits, like, hey, I brought you guys some treats for the presentation today. And they're like that's what happens to your transferees when they don't speak the language. You flip the script, make them eat a dog biscuit. Dude, eat it. Like, eat it. Really eat it.
It says biscuit.
That's what not knowing the language is like. Eat the biscuit, corporate.
Exactly.
It's kind of intense here. I need to eat something probably. Hey, man, it's always good to see you, dude.
You too, brother.
Always good, man.
Appreciate you.
I'll see you at the casino tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, let me get that hot mic back.
Oh, yeah, you need this?
Yeah. Don't want to walk around with a hot mic. There you go, buddy. Sounds good, man. Hey, everybody, get in the comments. Hit that like button. It's so good having everybody on today. We have Matt Tebby here, the CEO of Cardis. We had Brian Potts from Altair Global. We just had Rudy Lechuga from Global LT. We had Anandita Chaudhary, founding managing attorney. And I think we're all set, but we're going to be doing this again tomorrow. We've got an even bigger lineup tomorrow, so tune in, 4 o'clock Eastern. Hit that like button, get in the comments. Can't wait to see y'all. We're going to have a lot more to talk about. I've actually got my session tomorrow, which is going to be amazing. Maybe. I don't know. It's 10 in the morning. Could be a little dicey. Hope I don't get canceled. Anyway, see y'all tomorrow, everybody. Take care.